This episode is supported by Battlefilm.com.
Fight for the Iron Kingdoms as a warcaster. Take control of the mighty jacks, arcane devices, and dark sorceries to bring the fight to the War Machine Hub on beastsofwar.com. Anime cyberpunk style meets skirmish combat in Infinity. Experience 8 high-tech factions and fight to control the human sphere at the Infinity Hub on beastsofwar.com.
Good morning, it's Weekender time. We're back, we're ready. We're missing the man on the screen, but I do have Justin in the chair, and we're joined by the legendary, the enormous, in many ways, I'm told, Gerry. Hi, Gerry, welcome to the show.
It's all true.
Apparently
all
so. Right, we
Really?
have
Even
no...
that thing with the person in the place with the who and the why? That's true?
Exactly.
Dude!
I'm looking forward to this. I have no idea what's in this show yet.
Well, I've picked out a few things that I think are going to be cool. I hope.
Brace yourselves. Brace yourselves.
Strap in, boys.
This might actually...
Strap in, not strap on.
This might be the best show we've ever done. So we'll have to wait and see. Right. And before we get stuck into it, I just want to announce Hobby Night Live.
Yes.
Is not this week.
Yes, next week.
It's
a week from this coming Friday.
Do you know what? I can give you the date. It's the 11th, Friday, the 11th of August. We're doing our next Hobby Night Live. So get yourselves all G'd up, all prepared.
If I'm right, that might mean we actually have Ben here in the studio for Hobby Night Live.
Ooh.
Yes. Ben
he won't have to wave in through the window, desperate for attention.
No, Ben is going to be here on set. And that can mean only one thing. It means that very soon those guys are going to Gen Con. Yeah. There will be no Weekender that weekend because there's just too much awesome leaves the Beasts of War studios.
You're missing what, like 2/3 of the studio?
Well, it's just too much awesome leaves the studio. The rest of us can't cope, so we're just gonna lie back and just hope that they arrive back safely.
Well, this is the thing with us being at the event. Our American brothers and sisters out there will probably get a live Weekender when we go out for a backstager meetup. Or just a community meetup.
Right, and I'm sure that'll be great for them. Okay.
Attendance will be dropping at Gen Con this year.
Hang on, they have actually almost sold out for Gen Con this year with it being the 50th anniversary.
Well, actually, they had sold out. People heard you were coming. They started returning the tickets in droves. All right. I see them going on eBay for pence now. So it's like,
what, are they offering to pay for people to take the ticket?
Give it time.
They might just. As always, be careful what you buy on eBay. I had a moment recently with my other half. 8 years ago. She bought me tickets to go and see Metallica.
Oh, dude!
We weren't long together, and she really wanted to treat me, so she bought me 2 tickets for Metallica.
Off eBay?
Yes.
Oh.
I arrived at Metallica only to be told that those tickets are invalid. They were cancelled. So I was lucky enough. Unbelievably, there were still tickets available, so I bought 2 tickets there and then. Not a problem. Yeah. I just felt really, really sorry for her. But I never told her.
Is she watching?
Doubled down at just to go see Metallica.
Because this will be an interesting way to find out.
It took me 8 years to pluck up the courage to tell her. I only told her last week.
Whenever you were away?
Yeah, because she was. It was just before I'd left to go on holiday. She was talking about buying tickets, and alarm bells were ringing. It was one of those things that I never, ever had the heart to tell her that she had been nailed, that she'd been done over.
Caught by a scalper.
And it was like, I remember it vividly, because I remember that most of the time at the Metallica gig, I spent the time staring at the 2 seats that I had thought I had bought, giving dirty looks to the couple that were sitting in it, and then plucked up the courage to go over and actually say, well, where'd you get your tickets from? And then I thought to myself, it's not worth it. The gig was amazing, but I only plucked up the courage. And basically her response was, now, after 8 years together, married, 3 kids, was, oh well. So yeah, be careful if you're buying Gen Con tickets on eBay. They are going cheap because he's going, but but always buy from an official source. Is that public warning enough?
Yeah.
We've started doing that since Kickstarter. You know, it's
Yeah.
you know, it's Kickstarter. Be careful before you blindly throw your money at a
Well,
wish.
That's it. Buyer beware, I think.
Right. We've some prizes to give away.
Yeah, so we had the Beyond Infinity week.
Yes.
So the guys at Cover Spelly are doing the Beyond boxes for Operation Ice Storm and Operation Red Veil.
During
that
beautiful
week-
they are too.
However, during that week, we were actually giving away a copy of Ice Storm, Red Veil, and 3 copies of the rules.
So we were giving away 2 two-player starter sets.
Yeah, with rules.
With a rule book.
Yep.
And 3 additional copies of the rule book.
Well, not exactly. So the starter sets were coming with the N3 rulebook.
Yep.
The other rulebooks we were giving away were the Human Sphere N3 rule set.
All right. Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think there is a slight difference there, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah. The N3 one expands on it, doesn't have the core rules.
Okay. So let's pick some winners. So for Operation Ice Storm, for a 2-player starter set and the N3 core rulebook set, we have Haley's Red Comet. What a fantastic username on Beasts of War. Go and fill in the prize claim form. For Operation Red Veil, we have Adam Open on YouTube. And our 3 winners of the Human Sphere N3 rulebook is Michael Matthews on YouTube, Fred David on Facebook, and Super Furry Maniac on Beasts of
Is
War.
that Furry or Fury? 2 hours, sorry.
Furry.
Furry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's furry. So, congratulations to our winners. Be sure to fill in the prize claim form. As always, remember, it can take 2 weeks, sometimes up to 4 weeks for a prize claim to be processed, because we only have one little man who does it, and he only gets it about once every 2 weeks or so to get into
And
it. So.
anytime guests are coming into the studio, you've seen the number of games I've learned this year.
Okay. Hobby Night Live's covered. Beyond Infinity Week's covered. Gerry.
Hello.
Rorke's Drift.
Zulu, sir. Thousands of them.
You're playing that this weekend, yes?
Yes. Yeah, we are. We're revisiting the drift. Let's put it like that.
Lloyd should be sitting here for this bit.
Actually, I can sort of carry us a little bit, because I actually did play with the game
He
that
did.
already ran.
Which is a shame.
Do you know what? Give me a sec. I'm going to switch out and let Lloyd sit in for this bit, because he's played it, and I'm sitting staring at it going, I know actually nothing about that. So give me a second.
Ah!
You're right.
Yeah,
As if by magic.
I'm here to talk about Rorke's Drift.
We're glad to have you.
Yeah. We'll get someone in who's actually played the game.
Well,
I played.
you
Gerry,
did.
kinda.
But, well, you say you played. You sat in that hospital building firing at the hills.
Oh, that was him.
That was not him.
Yeah.
He was holding off the entire thrust of the...
There's an anniversary coming up. Isn't it this weekend? Is it this weekend?
No, this isn't an anniversary. This is just me
Oh, I thought we
forcing
were...
myself
Right.
upon you. Yeah, no,
Right.
no.
Okay, so we're getting ready to play Rorke's Drift. Okay, we've played it before. It's a big 8x6 layout that we're going to be doing.
Spectacular.
I'm pretty sure we talked about it before, but it was in Backstage. So if you've missed out on that, get into Backstage, troll through the episode. You'll find us talking about it with a lot of fun. The last time we played it.
You'll find it around January 22nd time, because that was the anniversary that we played on.
Yeah.
So it'll either be just before or just after that. Check.
Right. So what we're doing is we're playing a big game of the Zulus trying to take Rorke's Drift.
Yeah.
We've got the British holding on, a la the movie.
Exactly.
So
like
we're basically
the movie.
replaying the movie.
I'm replaying the movie as much as humanly possible.
Okay.
The movie didn't deviate too far from the actual action itself. Some of the characters were played up in the movie, some of the characters were played down. So, for example, Chard and Bromhead, historically, while they were lauded because they had, the right background, the right breeding, and it looked good for the British, there's quite a lot of actual historical notes that maybe they weren't quite the heroes that they're portrayed in the film as, and that people like Commissary Dalton, who gets a very minor role, sort of, oh, pop that fellow,
yeah.
and then gets shot. He was potentially much more of the actual leader of the defence. So there are little historical inaccuracies that we chose to gloss over because the film Zulu is just so good.
So in the meantime, then, so we played this last year. Between the last time we've played it and now, you've been making changes and stuff.
I've been tinkering
Okay.
because art is never completed; it's merely abandoned. So every now and again, I go back and I just tinker with it a little bit.
For anybody who hasn't seen the backstage show we've talked about before, what's the rule set and things we're using?
So, rule set wise is Osprey's The Man Who Would Be King.
If we go to camera 4.
There we go. The Men Who Would Be Kings, again, another classic film starring Sir Michael Caine. But this allows you to do colonial and 19th century skirmish games, skirmish to small action. In 28mm, that's what it's designed for. And it really gives you the flavour of that thin red line. And when it came out, I had a look at it and thought this is a fantastic set to use for Rorke's Drift, which is a collection I've had probably for close to 10 years from when Warlord released it. I had never played with it because I could never find a rule set that played the way the Zulu film played.
Yeah.
And that's really what I'm after. It's getting that Hollywood feel, getting the bits that sort of come to the fore from the actual film itself and being able to recreate those. Like I say, the film mirrors the actual action fairly well. So they've just tweaked some of the people who may or may not have actually had a more significant role.
Yeah. Now, are we using a simplified set of this rule set again, or is it basically just this rule set?
That rule set is perfect for it.
Yeah.
I've changed nothing from the actual rules. What we have off the back of those rules, and these have been laminated, so good luck getting those on camera without flash.
Ta-da!
Oh, you genius, you legend.
That.
So the only thing I've added from the rules themselves are, you can see these little playing cards. So we have Queen of Spades here for the poison snakes, and Private Hook has the Jack of Diamonds. When we play the actual game, I've stolen your pen. When we play the actual game, the activation of the units is random. So we shuffle up the deck of cards, and as the card is drawn, you get to activate that unit, and that might be a case that somebody activates who doesn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
Or potentially it could be an almost a double activation. You could get somebody activating last in one turn, and then immediately they get pulled out again, so they get almost that double action. So with a big game like this, you want to keep people engaged. You don't want somebody standing there at the edge of the table and taking their go and then waiting for like half an hour while it trucks back around to them. They get bored, they wander off, they have a coffee, they go for a smoke, you never see them again, they're over the hill. Boom. So using the cards means nobody knows when they're going to be pulled out, nobody knows who's acting, and it keeps them engaged. So.
And it works because me and Justin have played this game, and that drawing card technique is great because, like you said, there's never a point where you venture away to get coffee, and if you do, you find yourself rushing back because it's like, oh, my turn, I need to get back to shoot the Zulus.
You move it, you lose it. So so that's the only change I've put in is the card activation.
Yep.
And then the stats themselves, you can the stats actually all come from the books, but I have thrown in for the British side little quotes from the film and then a little rule to make them a bit more heroic, a bit more daring do. Now I have changed some of them. So Private Hook originally had the "shut up, you cripple."
Yeah. He's
leading the hospital defenders, and so I thought the fact that he was leading them means that the unit he commands can never at the double, which means they're restricted. They're walking wounded and they're not going to be able to move as quickly. For this one, I've changed it slightly to "you've done your part, Hook, time to go," which is another quote he does from the film. I've kept they can't at the double, but I've allowed them to move action for free. So normally you would make a dice roll and then you would have to succeed. So the fact that the hospital will catch fire, they don't want to be hanging around in there. So once Hooky reckons they've had enough and done their bit, they can leg it and they don't have to worry about being caught in a burning building, failing that roll and then just being toasted.
Yeah, is that not what happened to Lloyd?
No, I got Hooky got out.
No, you got out, then you had to run back in because there was just a wall of Zulus in front of you.
No, I got out. We've played this game before, as you'll have gained or grasped by now, right? It's played on a big 6x8.
6x8.
So there's a big complex in the middle because we're using a Rorke's Drift set in the middle. We've got all the sandbags and stuff. Can I show this stuff off?
Yeah, I've told you. So we have one of the two wagons that form part of the defence line. Which is a lovely bit of resin from Warlord games. So you have this defended, if you don't know the actual film, you have a defended farmhouse with a ring of sandbags and biscuit boxes, and a small contingent, and when we say small, there's about 150 people inside that compound, and they were being attacked by 4,000 Zulus. And then for the Zulu side, I want to have that idea that there's a massive force coming, and to do that we have 2 units per regiment. So instead of having a 16-man regiment, we've got 2 of them. So every Zulu unit is potentially 2 sets, so 32 men, and then they recycle. So when they start to be worn down by the fire, you can take them away and bring in a fresh unit from the board edge, and you get this constant wave coming at the British.
And it's really interesting when you mention the fire and stuff, because we are playing it in a fashion where you'll start to roll to see when the fire ignites, and you want to be out of the hospital before that happens, and then that can be in the way of the Zulus trying to get in. Yeah. I was hoping they would go on fire while the Zulus were going through the build.
Well, this is one of the other changes I've made. So when we played it the first time, the fire didn't kick in for a little while, and then it took a while to get burning. So now we play a 12-turn game because the drift was defended for 12 hours. So each turn is 1 hour of the defense. So we have a set point. When turn 5 comes, the building goes on fire in one corner, and then it has a potential to spread. So we roll for the spread of the fire, so it could move quite quickly. And depending on how many rooms are ignited, adjacent rooms have a bonus to burning. So once the fire starts going, it will really sweep through the building. The initial fire takes a little while to build, but then it will just tear through. And if you're caught in there, you're dead. Yeah. The other thing I've brought in is timing. So this started roughly 5 o'clock, and then it ran through to the following morning. The first attack came around about 6. So I've also added, essentially I've split it into 3 sections. So your first 4 turns are daylight. The next 4 turns are nighttime, and it reduces the firing. So at that point, you're reduced to the half range for the British firing, because you don't really know what's coming out of the long grass, and it means the Zulus have more of a chance to get to the wall. They're not being cut down, sized down by fire far, far away, because you can't see. And then after those turn 8, then we're back into sort of daylight and back to full range. So that's the other.
It is really interesting when you play it, because the complex is in the middle of this big 8x4, right? And then when you're playing the game, the Zulus come on in these waves, and you really feel under pressure as the British to try and shoot these waves down before they get to, because there's a great moment of them appearing on the board, and they get closer and they get closer, and you're like shoot, and they get closer, unless you're Justin and you're shooting the hills for no reason.
Shooting the hills the whole time.
Last time we played
the Zulu snipers down.
Oh yeah, and what a terrific job they were doing. How many people did the Zulu snipers kill?
None. One.
I was doing my job. They got one man. I call this a military success.
Off to one side of the table to represent what's happening in the movie, there's going to be a raised area, or there was a raised area.
There is, yeah.
And every now and again, some Zulu snipers would pop up, and they'd take up pot shots. But they weren't very good at this. And Justin camped his whole troop inside a building. You spent practically 90% of the game shooting this hill.
Yeah, never left that building while you...
Defensive perimeter.
While I shot
Do
down,
you understand how defensive
While I
perimeter
shot
work?
down all the other Zulus coming in, right?
Not all of them. I shot down my share.
And this time, there's going to be 64 more.
64 more.
Because you've been working away on new stuff.
The other thing I've done, apart from bringing more people in, is I've added 2 more units of British. So one is led by... so one's led by Maxfield. Now in the film, Maxfield was sick in hospital. And we get a couple of really nice quotes from him. So I've given him the rule, I've made a soldier out of you, and his unit does not have to roll for volley fire. Now volley fire is decimating, it's spectacularly good. But to marry that up, to make him a little less effective, there is a rule in this game, whenever you take a wound on that unit, you roll 2d6, and if you get a double 1, the leader of the unit dies. Maxfield did not survive the battle, so he's touched by fate to die. So on a double 1 or a double 2, Maxfield's going away. So potentially his unit is great, but if he starts taking wounds, he's more likely to get clipped. So we've got that, and then we've got one for you, Corporal Allen, fire at the smoke. They get to ignore 1 point of cover when returning fire at Zulus who've been firing at them. So that's the unit you want to fire out there and pin down. And then for the Zulu side, we noticed that the Zulus, their activation can be quite bad. So I've put in 2 units, and I've made them slightly better at activating. So I've added a couple of new elite units, not massively so, but it stops that point where the Zulus run up and then just stop because they've got a couple of pin markers on them and never get any further. We want to get more aggressive, and we want to get more fighting along the barricades themselves. So that's what I'm aiming for.
Here's a question for you then, Lloyd. So we've already played this scenario, right? Do you want to switch sides this time and play the Zulus instead of the British?
I don't know, I quite enjoyed playing the British.
Oh, we've already done it. I want to actually switch and play the Zulus this time.
Well, you can switch, but because you know on my side would be a great start. Because then you could be on the hill shooting down, and then we'll see how effective the Zulu snipers are.
We won, and you've seen my dice rolls.
This is true. This is very true.
I quite like playing as the British because, as the British, when you're in the middle, you feel the pressure.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to regenerate waves of men. Because if I remember, did the Zulus regenerate constantly the whole way through? Yeah, we just wanted to survive.
You have 12 hours to survive inside that compound.
Yeah.
And
so
until then,
it's fun as a Zulu player, but I think it's more pressure as the British player because when you start to lose men, you lose men.
Yeah.
So you're like, I need to shoot these guys down. And then the other thing is, during the game, you move around in the complex because there's lots of barriers and stuff.
Yeah.
And then we end up eventually getting pushed back into the rotunda. Am I saying that right?
The redoubt.
The redoubt.
The final
I don't know why I'm
redoubt.
calling it rotunda. Redoubt, yes.
Tombola?
You're thinking architecture, Lloyd. But no, you see, I think the Zulus have just as much pressure. It's just more of a slow build for them because they have a set clock within which to kill you.
Yeah.
And as those turns wear on, they might get more and more guys. But as that wears on, you're thinking, crap, I'm running out of time to actually get in here and kill everybody.
Yeah.
Now, what we did notice was the Zulus come in randomly. And that meant in the last turn, we had a fresh unit of Zulus, and they randomly came in from the very, very furthest point they could have to the actual defenders, and there was no way they were going to make it up there in time. And whereas the initial setup and the waves coming in randomly, so nobody knows where the points of attack are going to come from initially. That's great, and it mirrors in some respects the idea that the Zulu came in and surrounded the compound and then started attacking from the rear initially until somebody a bit more senior, the actual prince, arrived and started directing the attack. So again, there's random deployment for the Zulus, but only up until turn 6.
Ooh.
And then from that point on, it's up to the Zulu player where they want to bring those people on. So no
because
more.
We've got past this bit where they're testing the defenses and they've formulated their plan and go, that's where we're attacking.
That's the weak spot. And that gives the Zulus more effectiveness. They can pick where, if they need a unit to come on from that edge close to the redoubt, they can. And it stops the British going, well, we'll just defend here because we know the bottom corner will take it for 3 turns and then we'll just pull back. And half of the Zulus will probably be wasted just because the dice roll will push them far enough away. So it puts a little bit more pressure on the British again. And that's what we want. We want as much pressure on the defenders as possible because it must have been a grim action to fight in.
It's also nice because if you're doing it from the turn 6 onward, that means the Zulus have a bit of time at night while they can deploy forces and actually start getting them up and into those weaker positions.
Yeah, and I mean the Zulus, because they're tribesmen, they can go to ground, so they could essentially come forward under cover of darkness and then lay down and then wait for as many turns as they need for a gap to appear in the line before hopping up and engaging, because they can't be targeted if they're not within short range and they've gone to ground, and that's them in the scrub, in the long grass, just waiting for their moment to pounce. So I've tried to mirror the film as much as possible, and every time I go back I add a bit more. So I've even started to do things like working out how to make things like little campfires just for my own personal amusement, because I have got this is a prototype. I have got the
is that the right way? Is that the way you want it?
Yeah, more or less.
More or less.
The shield on the top can go the other way around. But
okay.
They have these lovely campfires at the start, and the cook is told to put the boilers out, pour the soup on the fire, and
dump them.
And they just have this scatter.
Yeah.
But I recently picked up the cook model, who's dragging the ammunition. So now we're going to have the cook and Commissary Dalton circling the inside of the camp on a set path, and any unit they're close to, whenever they're firing, they're going to get a reroll on their shooting because they're getting additional ammunition, and they move on.
This is what's really cool about basing this. I know it's based on...
It's based on a historical action, but basing
on
it on the film...
Basing it on the film is a good way to do this, because if you take a game like this and then you introduce people to it who maybe don't normally do historical gaming and stuff like this, if they've seen the film, they can get engrossed in this pretty quickly. Because I wasn't sure how much I was going to enjoy it when you said we're going to do Rorke's Drift, and I was like, well, okay. I've seen the movie, but then when we got stuck into it again, I was like, oh, this is awesome.
If you took it from the historical point of view, though, it might be more of a dry way to learn it, whereas the movie is a bit more fun.
It's an easy access point. And it's funny, somebody a couple of days ago was actually asking me why I decided to do colonial warfare. And I pointed out, I'm not doing colonial warfare, I'm specifically doing Rorke's Drift and the film Zulu.
Yes.
And whenever you're getting into historics, you've got to find an in. And it's the same as any system. And it could be, for science fiction or fantasy, it'll be the miniatures, or it'll be the games mechanic, or it'll be the background. But when it comes to historics, you know what they're going to be. It doesn't matter if you pick up a Perry Zulu or a Warlord Zulu or an Empress. The figures are always going to look more or less the same, just slight changes in the quality of the sculpt. But it's the background. So it's going, right, well, where is my point of entry? And in this case, it was that film.
Yeah.
And there's Afghan wars, and there are larger parts of the Zulu war, the battle of Isandlwana that came before this, where the Zulus just mopped up the British. Doesn't interest me as much. And likewise, the film Zulu Dawn that covers that doesn't really interest me hugely either. Now that may change, because I see that their 17th Lancers are coming from Perry shortly, and I may need to add, but it's being able to go, this interests me for this reason, and that's why I'm going to do this. And like I say, adding the cook pots because I have the cook just amuses me. And every time I go back to it, I'm getting closer and closer to actually getting as historical a layout as I can for the Drift.
Yeah.
And I'm getting closer and closer to getting one-to-one. And I have the role of honour of the people who were there. And when I get to the point where I have all 150 British, I think I'm just going to start naming them just on a sided basis. So you can just go, well, that is whoever it is. This is, Private whoever, because there were some great bits in the actual action that aren't covered in the film. There's a artilleryman, and in fact there were actually 5 there, but they didn't have an artillery gun, so we don't know the story why they were there. Somebody might. I don't.
Well, it was a hospital, maybe injured.
That's it. I know one of them. One of them actually came from Dublin. He was called John Cantwell, and he had been a sergeant, and then he had been busted down, which is presumably why he was left behind at the Drift for some infraction when the rest of the army marched into Zululand. He actually distinguished himself and was given the DSO.
DSO?
The Distinguished Service Order, I think.
Okay.
So he was cited and received a medal, while I suppose 2 days previous he may have been busted down and was like, well, I'm stuck here, this has gone badly wrong for me. 2 days later he survived where the rest of the artillerymen had been massacred at Isandlwana, and he was cited and received a medal for it. So I have a single blue uniformed artilleryman who's just scattered in amongst the units, and he does nothing in this game, but I just like having him there.
Yeah.
Just having this North Dublin nutbag repulsing the Zulus. So it's just one of those little things that you can just start sprinkling in. So there's historic parts in this as well, although it's mostly Hollywood.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm looking forward to it, because I think the key point of the conversation is if you take something and you can get a movie and replicate that on the tabletop to a certain extent, you can get people into. I think historics is probably a really good thing to base it on, because generally in a historic battle like this particular one, where it's the size of it is big without being stupidly big.
Yeah.
Whereas if you take a sci-fi movie or something, suddenly it's just all out of all proportion, perhaps.
At which point you're probably having to change scales to really do it. I mean, Starship Troopers, you could do that little part where they're defending against the waves of
and then the
arachnids in the movie.
Essentially the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, more or less exactly that. But then if you look at something like the big battles in Star Wars and that sort of, to get that massive, because you see ships like the Federation ball things floating off into the air. These were huge, massive engagements, more akin to sort of World War II.
Yeah.
And doing it in 28mm, you couldn't easily do it on the battlefield, let's say. So
now we're going to play this Sunday, aren't we?
We're going to play it, this Sunday.
We're going to see how it goes. We might have a conversation in backstage. maybe in a week or two, about how it actually went and see what was the difference, how did it feel. You're thinking of playing Zulus?
I'm going to play Zulus because I've done British. I want to see how the Zulus fight, and it did look like a fun side to be fighting on for the game. One thing for the historical thing that you were saying.
Yeah.
Whenever you take a historical movie and you try and recreate a battle, your source materials may be a bit easier to lay your hands on. You know, to actually build the table and build the terrain of it.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you're at like a gaming event or something and someone's doing like a guest game, anything like this, give it a whirl. Because if it's anything like we've been playing in here, Gerry, it's a hell of a lot of fun.
That's
right.
what I like to hear.
I'm going to take a quick break and we'll get Warren back in and we're going to move on to the news.
Progress comes to a world of magic as science and the arcane combine to make marvels. Meet steampunk inventors and orc mystics at the Volsun Hub on beastsofwar.com. A world of hideous nightmares awaits in Kingdom Death Monster. Fight to survive or fade into darkness at the Kingdom Death Hub at beastsofwar.com.
So maybe next time I'll be able to actually say something of interest, because if I'd sat through that segment, all I would have been doing was Horns of the Bull the entire time. So
that's fine.
And nobody wants to listen to that. Let's be honest.
Everybody wants to listen to that.
On the topic of historical stuff, though, I will alert you that sometime in the next weeks, very soon, we are going to, myself, Gerry, and Oriskany from the site, be doing Dunkirk Week.
Important question. Have you went to see the movie yet?
No.
Oh, I can't talk about it.
No. I'm going to...
don't spoil it. We don't want to know how it finishes.
Don't spoil it, because we don't want to know what happened.
No. In the actual movie, the way they actually laid it out...
There's a twist at the end, isn't there? Right. Everybody died.
They counterattacked the Germans and push into Berlin. It's gone all Tarantino.
No. The actual movie itself has a really interesting layout to it, and I don't want to talk about it so that you can see it and see it for yourself.
That's fine.
Because there are a few moments that they actually put into the movie that are just incredibly, incredibly harsh.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well,
so this is me being fair.
Something to look forward to.
Yeah. So,
we don't want a spoiler cast.
Yeah, we don't want a spoiler on the historical movie. Anyway, Dunkirk is a fascinating sequence of events. It's a fascinating point in the war. And we're going to spend a week exploring how we translate something like that to our gaming tables, because it's a massive evacuation. So I'm interested to know at the different scales and using different games, what are the opportunities for playing something that is Dunkirk related? And we're going to be dialoguing with you guys, getting ideas and things like that. So that if you come to play Dunkirk or want to use it as an inspiration for something, what are your options? Yeah. So
it's also very different from most people go, what are the big battles of the period I'm playing? How can I replay a big battle? This isn't a big battle. This is an evacuation. Yeah. And it's just a different take on that. So it should be really fun to explore.
So with our two resident experts of Gerry and Jim, we'll hopefully find out and learn something about it in the process. Right, Justin.
Yeah. News time.
You've picked some news.
I have. I picked a few stories, and I think you'll really dig the first one. Mm-hmm. So it speaks right to your heart, Warren. Orc Table.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. So the guys at Battleboards, they're a custom board building company.
Yeah.
And they've came up with this really nice sort of like orc settlement.
Is this a product? This is something I can buy?
Well, you could hire them to create a custom battle board.
All right, okay. So this is a service then?
Yeah, this is a service, and this is one of the latest ones that they've done.
Dear goodness, look at that.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
That is really nice.
Yeah, do you want to know what's also nice? So this is sort of the process they go through for designing it, right?
Yeah.
But let me show you this. This might give you a little heart stopper. There's your price.
Well, do you know what? You pay for quality.
Exactly.
There's a lot of work.
There is. And there's a lot of kits. If you go back to the orc tower.
Yeah. The stuff that's in there.
Yeah, look at how many kits
you're looking at it. There's obviously 40k orc pieces in there.
Yeah.
That looks like pits of the Titan. One of the lower pictures that showed the that gantry, there we go. That's a square from a Mantic kit.
Yeah.
With the fan in it, and then below it you've obviously got more 40k.
So
so when you're paying, I'm assuming they've got a sliding scale, and you pay, you could have it more basic or more detailed, and you're paying for that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know? Well, when you think about it, like they go through a whole design process, because you can see it there on their website where they've got the design process all done in 3D. That even takes time. Yeah. Let's be honest. and then to go through it, then you've got all the kits, you've got to assemble it, put it all together.
All the scratch-built bits.
All the scratch-built bits, then the painting of it. So, there's no doubt about it, buying in gaming tables of that quality costs money.
That's it.
It costs money.
Yeah,
it really does.
This is the thing. Is that something for your Joe Average who's just going to put it in his gaming room? Or is this a service that companies should maybe look at?
It's simply for people that can afford it.
Yeah.
Well,
it's for anybody who wants that quality of thing and don't have either the time or the skill to do it themselves and have the disposable cash to go and get it done for them.
I know or knew a barrister in Belfast, just outside Belfast, who had kids. He had limited time, a lot of money, and the time he had, he wanted to spend gaming.
Yeah.
He didn't want to impact the time he had with his kids.
Yeah.
So he would pay for things like this. He would pay for painted armies, and he said to him that was part of the hobby. He wants a great looking army, but he doesn't want to impact his family life. And if that's going to cost some money, then
yeah.
So and if you have busted your balls through law school, you're well entitled to go and spend your money however you see fit.
Exactly.
So it's a
fair point.
I think it's a fascinating product, and it's interesting. It shows the. I think any industry ecosystem is always at its most healthiest when it has options at all the different levels.
That's it. Yeah.
It's and this is very much, our industry is now very much in that phase, and you can see different products at different levels. Like unfortunately, one of the big luxury table companies went out of business recently.
Oh, really?
But they did tables, your gaming tables with all your luxury wood.
Oh,
and
is
stuff
this
like
like the custom dining table that converts into a gaming table?
Yeah, they were like $6,000, and so. But some people are fortunate enough to have the disposable income to just go and do that. But it shows a breadth within an industry, a breadth within the consumer group that companies like that can even be sustained for a short period, and it's a good thing. It is a good thing because what it does is it inspires the rest of us.
That's it.
And then we look at the likes of that and we think to ourselves, okay, I maybe don't have the money to drop down on something like that, but I might be able to build that. And then that's what your Hobby Night Lives and stuff like that's for, is to say, do you know what? Let's have a crack at something like that and see if we can.
And even going around their website and browsing and getting the inspiration for a massive tower, Orc Tower scratch build, or the
you've got
that
Necron
bit piece there, being able and just be able to pick out those pieces and go, right, well, I could do that. That's some Hearst Arts molds, or that's polystyrene, or that's this kit, and I have bits and pieces kicking around. I can add to that, and like you said, it's getting in there and going, what's that little that spark that goes, well, this would look great in a gaming table, and I could potentially make this.
No doubt about it. I look at something like that, and like many of us, I suffer great gamer envy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm really appreciative of the fact that that kind of thing can exist.
Yeah.
Because that is an inspiration to the rest of us that may not be able to afford something like that. I know I unlikely ever will unless I win the lottery. But I can take the inspiration from it, and I can have I can use it to inspire something that maybe I can force John to create.
Okay, John, we just finished this project. The videos are out. By the way, it's going home.
Right. Next up, what have we got?
Next up, we have something from Victoria Miniatures. Now, John kind of should be in for this one, but we have Gerry here, who's a bit of a historical buff himself. So this is one I think you'll like, Gerry.
Yes.
So they have created a new type of Matilda tank. So they've taken the old Matilda and sci-fi'd it up.
Oh.
Yeah. This comes from Victoria Lamb in Australia.
Yeah.
And once again, she's already done quite a lot of either resin part kits to adapt the Imperial Guard into actually British and pith helmets, and the Rough Riders and Lancers. And so this is more of that, bringing the historical part into sci-fi.
Yeah.
Which I think is great.
This is Redcoat.
Yeah. She does a whole range of. She even has the Lancer Rough Riders, so you can take the GW Rough Riders and GW Imperial Guard plastic sprue and then add in the pith helmet head, the kilts and that sort of thing. So this just allows you to build a sort of a 19th century, early 20th century British army for your Imperial Guard, or whatever you want sci-fi
so
wise.
Isn't it as a Lehman Russ replacement?
It's fantastic. It's gorgeous.
Beautiful resin pieces. I love that.
Oh, that actually answers a question I had. which was who was it sculpted by, because up until now Victoria has mostly done her own sculpt, and it's all been individual infantry figures, whatever it happens to be. But in the last Reaper Kickstarter, they did a railway gun, an Earthshaker cannon, mounted on a railway carriage. She did the infantry crew for it, but didn't do the actual gun. I was wondering if she's brought somebody on board. So it seems like there's a bit of expansion in was a relatively bespoke business for her. So it's nice.
I love that.
I actually have found John did actually weigh in on this one on the site.
Yeah,
and he's popped his comment in here. These are really nice and confusing to me. Part of me loves them, part of me is bemused, and part of me, the larger part, doesn't care and is asking the rest of me where I put my wallet.
Can't really argue with that.
No, fair enough. Yeah. He just has to have them.
Shiny.
Right, we had Steamforged in the studio a couple of weeks back. Okay,
yes,
we're getting some updates on what they're taking to Gen Con. Yeah.
So as we always know, Gen Con is one of those big events where companies start to show off all the latest and greatest.
It was a big event, and they found out you were going.
Okay, running gag. One of the things they're looking to bring to Gen Con is the new guild, the Blacksmiths.
Yeah.
These guys I am excited for. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we actually had the guys in for a bit of a chat about how this faction plays.
Oh, they are beautiful. Yeah.
I love these guys because of the way they actually play on the tabletop.
Yeah.
You have apprentices and masters in your team. The masters power up the apprentices, who then go do the work. And Gerry, I know you love the little forge that we saw.
I think it's worth the price of admission for that little forge with bellows, because finding those in 28mm is a pain in the backside. I've tried myself, and I like that they've added a little touch like that.
So your masters basically
they are masters.
Charge up the youngsters and then send them out.
The masters will have an ability that they can then pass out to the apprentices. Also, you can pick which of the masters is going to be your captain, and that'll change the legendary play that they have. So the whole thing for Guild Ball is they have different plays and stuff. So their heroic play essentially gets a legendary version. They're also starting to show off some of the stat lines and stuff for the characters. So this is Cinder, and you can start to get that feel of, yep, the Blacksmiths are just heavy, hard-hitting. I believe she's the striker for this set, but she can actually destroy the ball.
Yeah.
Nice.
In the middle of the game, she can just go, ha, ball? No. And just destroy it.
I take it no other. This is one of the things about Guild Ball, and probably what sets it apart as one of the, if not the best sports game in the genre that we have. No other team plays like this. I think that there is massive difference between the play styles of the team.
Yeah, each team has the feel of what their guild would be. So the Blacksmiths, they feel big, tough, heavy guys. The farmers, you have basically the guys who are in charge and the guys who are working the fields. So you have the reapers and the sowers. So you'll have some people putting down tokens to actually be picked up by the reapers later to then get bonuses, to then heal stuff. You then have the fishermen, who are very light, very fast, very agile.
If somebody's new to Guild Ball, we did Guild Ball Week recently.
We did.
We'll have a link in the show notes and maybe a pop-up here somewhere in the show that'll take you through to Guild Ball Week.
We also have Guild Ball Proving Grounds now running out on the site, which is us playing matches with the different teams and different lineups. So you can actually get a really good sense of how each faction is going to play before you actually,
Can they pick up tips and learn more about the game?
That's the whole point of it, is learning to play with the factions and then seeing how they match up against each other and then changing those matchups. Because changing the two matchups really changes how the game plays. It's incredible.
Awesome. Right, finally,
next one's a little bit different.
Horde.
Yeah, now this is a little different. So, you know what loot box is?
Yes.
Right. Hobby Horde is like that for gamers.
Okay.
So
now, I've seen stuff like this for gamers before, though.
This one's focusing in on painting products. You don't get miniatures in this.
Okay.
So this one in particular, top quality paint with different brands and stuff. So this is sort of like expanding your collection just a little bit every month, and you're getting surprises every month to then try and experiment with. So this is really for those painters out there who want to try new techniques.
So it's a mix of paints, parts, scenery, terrain, bases, and any other painting accessories you can think of, just the models. I've got to say, initially I was looking at it and going, huh? Because most of us, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm a retired painter. I don't do it anymore. But previously, I'll cast my mind way back to when I could be arsed. You would have had stuff that you wanted to paint.
Yeah.
And then you would need the paints and the bases for that project.
Yes.
I suppose what this does is potentially kind of surprises you and challenges you to try something new, and maybe takes you out of your comfort zone. But I'm not sure if most people's projects work that way.
No, it's going to come down to what's in that box. When they say that there are bits of terrain and basing and that sort of material, there might be stuff that you can get that you can have sitting on your bench, like resin tree stumps or base fillers, things like that. Things that you might not go out of your way to look for, but you could build up a little stockpile and then go, well, I'm doing this project. Oh, I've got something for that. The paints and the brush side, I'm not 100% certain that that's the way to go. I might get an initial push from some people, but it could grow stale very quickly.
Yeah,
even if they included one miniature.
Yeah,
if they'd gone this month, it's a fantasy miniature, and it's an elf. Here's some greens and browns from Reaper. Here's some resin basing from Micro Arts.
And just theme it to a
miniature as a mini project. I think that would push it, but then that would also possibly push the cost up because you need to get the miniatures in.
True,
and that's where it's going to.
Where look, I've sent out fantasy boxes to everybody who's on the subscription, and X number of people, well, they don't do fantasy.
No, well, we're all faced with that. Any content, basically, it is a content provider as well. You're providing something. We all face that challenge because none of us can create something that appeals to everybody all the time. I don't know. I think I'll wait and see. We'll keep an eye on it and see what it is.
It really comes down to the contents.
I can't really comment too much because, like I said, I'm pretty much retired. I painted on holiday though.
What'd you paint?
Finger painting.
A monkey.
Face painting.
I painted a monkey. As part of there's a little craft activity you can do with your kids, and you get these ceramic things. Yeah. So they had a ceramic monkey, a car, a fairy, stuff like that there. So there were 2 for 20 quid, and I have 3 kids, so I got to be the 4th kid.
Nice.
Okay, so I got a monkey, and they were all sitting plaster and paint on these, and what you do is you paint them up, and then you hand them back. And then they glaze them and fire them in a kiln.
Right.
So when you get them back, they become a proper ornament.
So you're doing it on site then. You're essentially going into like a craft shop
you're
and
going
sitting in.
You're doing it. You get it all painted up the way you want, and then you hand it back to them, and then you come back 2 days later, and it's all shiny and glazed and fired.
The fact they're doing that bit, that's fantastic, because up until then you're going, that's a nice little project. It's no different from buying a chip or any other nonsense tat that will get there. But the fact they're firing it, so it's permanent. It's
properly finished at the end stage. But you sit down with the paints, and then of course,
range brushes.
Yeah, the brushes are a bit crap. They're all a bit bent. Yeah. And then I start embarrassing Andrea, because of course I want a better brush. all of the hobby has suddenly started to come out of me. I'm starting to order the children, paint that more carefully.
Where is my Kalinsky sable?
And then it got bad. I started to turn into Duncan. It was like, thin those. How many times do I have to tell you? Thin those paints. And so I'm getting the kids that was thin the paints. Look.
Duncan's quite so aggressive on that one.
Less coats.
He would be if
thinner coats. It will work better. You're not listening to me, children. So Andrea's going, calm down, one. Stop taking it so seriously. And then, of course, I'm painting this monkey, and then I'm even having a go at wet blending in around the torso, and I'm just going. And I'm going. Oh, what do you see, Sandra? Whenever this is. Oh, this is going to look. This will look great. And I'm holding it up, going, well, what do you think? What do you think? I may be retired, but I've still got them painting chops. I've painted all the shading in under the arms, and I've shaded in between the fingers and the tail. I've done all this amazing shading work and stuff like that.
I'm getting severe overtones of Bob Ross, and here we paint a happy little monkey.
I'm sitting there thinking to myself, maybe I will get back into this painting malarkey. Look at everybody else's; they're all shite compared to mine. And I'm just sitting there going, I can't wait to take this up, and she'll see just how great my monkey is. This is great. The other kids, I'm looking at it and going, that could be better. So this is fine. The kids start to get bored because it takes time for the paint to dry. Yeah. There's other activities they want to do. They want to go and see the pantomime and stuff like this here. And Andrea says, well, look, do you want... I'm going, they're not finished. can we ask him if we can come back and finish these? He goes, no way they're sending them up to be fired looking like that. They're not finished. And Andrea says, well, okay, do you want to come back and finish them while the kids go off and do their thing? And I said, okay. She says, but don't do too much. Just do a couple of little bits extra to it, but make sure you leave something for the kids to do. And of course, I go overboard. And when I come back, they're all completely done. Names on them, dots on them, everything. And the kids come back and go, Daddy, what was left for me to do? I did leave you a bit to do. I left you this dot. Careful now, and I'm even holding their hand as they're putting the final dot on. Turned into arsehole dad completely. That was great.
So have you plans for some sort of painting sweatshop in the Johnson house where you just have them lined up and just block colour, block colour, block colour?
The karma came back to me, came back on me though. Because when we finished up, we left them all up. And I was kind of, I'd left it all up and, just hovering around waiting for the praise and stuff. Praise whatsoever. So she takes them off and gets ready to fire them. We come back 2 days later and we start lifting them out of the bags. And in mine, I'm leaving it to last, because, would you see this? I lifted out every feckin' piece of shading I did disappeared. I may as well have been all flat colour. And it looked shite, and the kiddies' stuff looked amazing. All their big brutal brush strokes and stuff came out looking great, and mine, all that additional time and effort. Andrea was laughing her balls off at me.
I have one sentence.
More isn't always
I totally
more.
Deserved that though.
Product not designed for user.
User not designed for product either, I've got to say. But it was brilliant. The kids loved it. We have some great ornaments now, and definitely we will do that again. But next time I will not. I will
try.
I will back off and I'll say, do you know what, kids? Just plaster it on.
Go nuts.
Plaster it on. Go nuts. Oh, it was good fun. It was good fun, and the end result was interesting. So yeah, I've had a little bit of painting experience recently, but as for Hobby Horde, I will have to wait and see.
Okay.
Right.
Next thing I have is something that you're going to really dig.
Okay.
So this is something that arrived in the studio a little while ago, and I haven't had the chance to show it off just yet.
Yeah.
Right. So what I have here are some beautiful pieces.
Right. Okay. There's more of these, isn't there?
Oh, we have 4 of them, I believe.
Okay. So, who makes them? And I'm not going to say what are they because clearly they're dice towers.
Yeah. So these are from Black Thumb Creations, and they're HDF mechanical dice towers.
Mechanical dice towers.
So if I see this little lever here.
Yeah. Oh.
And if I
look at it.
Oh, do we have some dice?
We do have dice. Because there's dice in this one. So this is a mini one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So pop some dice onto the top of this for me.
Okay. So let me get them. Okay. Okay.
Right.
Oh no! Let me do it. I want to do it. Okay.
Okay.
So which way do I go?
Just back towards us.
Oh! Oh, that is so satisfying.
Yeah. Although my favorite has to be these ones.
Okay.
So these different ones.
Let me get that one out of the way.
They also have a little lever on them.
So let me just show off some of the details of this, right? Because it is a beautiful looking thing.
So
let me get my mug
castle.
out of the way. Yeah, so a little castle. Look at it.
Levers on the back, and there's a little portcullis at the front there.
Okay, so let me turn it around to the front so you can see what happens.
I suggest you put your hand in front of this because these may get spat out.
Okay. And then what?
Just pop the lever.
Pop the lever. Let me see if I can. So the lever's here.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
And it's like 2 little jaws at the top.
You see? Oh! Oh, that is so nice. Let me get a wider angle there for you. So for an action replay of that, just look at that.
Yeah.
Oh!
Lovely, isn't it?
Right. One more go.
Well, here,
okay.
use the other one.
No. Oh, that dice are going everywhere. Right. So one last go. So the wee jaws, they eat the dice and then spit them out.
Yeah.
And then we have this one here.
Which is more of a steampunk variant. Which I think is just beautiful.
Oh.
For a HDF kit, it's really clever.
Oh, God. Yeah. Save us. Look at them. Oh.
Yeah, the mechanism's great, isn't it?
Oh.
And then you have actually, now I'm boring, my favourite one's actually this other one.
Well, wait. Can I stick it in?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Right, let me stick it in. Right. Okay. So you ready for this, guys? Oh! I could sit all day.
You can do that all day, couldn't you?
Can I do the big one? Let me do the big one, and then I'll let you get to your little one. I want to do the big one once more. Okay?
All right.
So let me see if I can get the big one on. So just look at the details. I love actually getting it over to the side.
Actually, you see if you turn it all the way around, Warren.
All the mechanics, yeah?
See at the back there? There's a little window that opens there whenever you pull it.
Oh, it's got a little rear hatch, Justin.
Yeah, so if anything ever gets stuck, you can actually get in at it.
So if you get stuck, you can go in via the rear hatch and push it out.
Yeah.
It's one way of doing it, certainly.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's a really clever design, isn't it?
Okay, I'm going to stick it in. Okay, I'm going to give it a wee pull. Okay, and
line yourself up.
Right. So let me get lined up. Right. Let me see.
There you go.
Do you reckon that's a good angle there, guys?
That's a good angle.
Right. I'm ready to pull. Okay. So I'm going to pull. Should I jiggle my finger in the rear hatch as well at the same time? No. Okay. Are we ready?
Then.
Yeah.
Are we ready? Oh! I'll just stick my finger in. There's nothing in there in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, Justin.
But it's such a clever design. There's a dice jammed in there.
Oh, that's why. Okay. Oh.
They're clever,
right.
aren't they?
Once more, guys, because that is as ASMR as you're ever likely to get for me. Just right once more.
Yeah.
And imagine this in your gaming group and the satisfaction of just pulling on this. Oh,
it's good. It is good.
Yeah. This, however, is my favourite one.
Right, John, you're painting this for me. This one is coming home with me. You're going to paint this.
This is the one I want to lay my hands on because this is actually a portable dice tower.
Right. Okay.
So, just a little box, folds open. It's got a lovely little bit of engraving on the front.
Okay.
So if I pop this in, tell me that doesn't look just really nice.
So it just pops together like that.
Yeah.
That is actually very nice.
Yeah. It's just
That
a
is
really
nice.
clean little design, isn't
Yeah.
it?
So let me just pop it out.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what? You just pop them into the top.
Yeah, and they just run out. So it doesn't have the mechanism in it, but for just a clean little dice tower, it's perfect.
You can transport your
this
dice
should
in
be
it
this
as well.
should, yeah, you could keep your dice and stuff in it as well. So let me just pop them in. I think that'll be really cool for our Let's Plays and stuff as well, Justin. So because you could get a camera just on this bit.
The interesting bit is the little bit at the front there is pretty much perfect for putting your cards to as well, so reading stats and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
It's not a benefit to you guys, but it's a benefit to us.
It actually is for the guys at home because whenever it's that close, it gives me a consistent location where I can pop down the cards and show them to
that's not quite what I meant. I meant if they're buying this, they're probably not buying it for that reason.
Well, no.
Okay.
You're buying a portable dice
anyway.
tower.
I have to say,
but
these
some
ones,
of the stuff looks beautiful on the
All
website.
right, you've got more.
So this is what you're thinking look like painted. Because it's HDF, you can actually spray it on the sprue and then tidy up the edges.
Yeah.
So make painting it really quickly. I love these when they're oiled.
Yeah.
They just look so pretty.
Yeah. But these ones here, where it's a dice tower that's also a bit of terrain.
Yes.
And you can have that on the battlefield, except when you don't actually let your miniature disappear into it. But
right enough, actually.
You can have these. You can have a couple of these thrown out when you're playing a game.
Yeah.
And the fact that they're dice towers is hidden until you need to use them. Obviously, then when you put the
obviously
he disappears.
Yeah, I'll just
poor Arden.
And he gets eaten.
But even where you see where they've designed the door at the front, it's scaled for 28mm.
So I can show that.
So it doesn't. It's not out of place scale wise. Having a few of these just dotted about the table, one for each side. It doesn't take you away from the game because you've got a dice tower.
I just love the fact that they are completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
But in a beautiful way. The fact that they've made them beautiful with lots of unnecessary intricacy, but that's what makes them really special. I love these. Absolutely love them. Yeah. I'm definitely going to get this.
I like
this one.
I like any of them that's got this on
anything that's got the capture.
Because as anybody who's seen me play, dice go everywhere. I'm ballistic with dice, and I really need a dice tower with me at all times to have any hope of keeping them on the board.
With a lot of the neoprene mats these days, whenever you roll dice on them, they're so bouncy. Dice just go flying.
It wouldn't even matter if it was a neoprene mat or anything at all.
Right.
I just dice go
just
ballistically in every direction.
I am so in my happy place with that there. It just guys, just for the sheer satisfaction of the. Oh, that is so good. Right, I forgot the name of the company that even makes them. What do you call those
the
guys?
guys at Black Thumb Creations.
Black
There's
Thumb
a link
Creations.
in the show notes below.
And when you buy them,
yep, they're flat packed.
They're flat packed. They come in this kind of.
So basically, what we have there is 2 more of these little bad boys.
Okay.
The smaller variants.
So this one here is the mini mech dice tower.
So that's this.
You think that's this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fella.
Okay.
And the other one.
And then this one here, which is actually less components in it, which is cool because it means it'll be quicker to build.
Yeah.
And that's the Castle Facade. Oh no, that's an upgrade kit.
Oh, upgrade.
Yeah, that's a Castle Facade upgrade kit.
All right. So
yeah.
So does this
fit inside that?
Then become this? I'm not sure.
That was up to you to research that one, dude. So anyway, all you need to know is you can buy the things. They come flat packed. There's lots of options.
Yeah.
And really, just look once more at the intricacy.
Yeah, just seeing the side of it.
Just look at that.
Yeah.
What lovely.
HDF engineering makes me happy.
Oh, goodness me.
Yeah. Oh, well, I didn't notice there's actually a wee living hinge on them.
Yep.
A living hinge? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so up there, that's what the HDF guys call a living hinge. It's taking HDF and letting it bend 90 degrees.
Isn't it great that we have geniuses in this hobby that could make so much money elsewhere, but waste their time creating stuff that we could just go, oh. Okay, love it.
A little addition for somebody.
Absolutely love it. So the blackthumbcreations.com, go and check it out. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 2 Kickstarters, yeah?
Yes, we do.
Okay, and you've picked these as well, yeah?
I have indeed.
This is what happens when Ben goes away on holidays.
Yeah,
Justin.
Okay.
Has it been a good show so far?
It's been great. It's been great. You've blown me away with this, Justin. So,
the next one is a Kickstarter, which I think every role player out there is going to love, simply for one reason. Whenever you build your characters and you're playing through your role-playing games and you pick up your new Sword of Awesome and your miniature is running around with a crappy little stagger.
Yeah.
No more.
Oh.
So this is Hand of Glory modular magnetic gaming miniatures. And what the guys have done with these is they've magnetized the wrist.
Oh, look at it.
We were talking unnecessary. I think this is totally necessary for role players.
I gotta say it's cool.
Yeah.
It is cool. Oh, they can even take things from each other.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cute.
Oh, the magic of stop motion.
Yeah.
No, that's not stop motion.
Oh, it was whenever they changed.
Oh, yes, it was. Look, watch.
Yeah,
stop motion, yeah.
He didn't actually hand her that chalice. They're not real, Justin.
Yes.
So this is a really simple one. I believe it is funded. It is.
Yeah.
Well funded.
Well funded. Yeah.
And it's still got a few days left to go. I believe it's about 13 days left now.
Yeah.
And I think just for any role player out there, this is a perfect one for them.
I've got to say, it helps that the minis are actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yes. I like these. So do you have to do any work other than painting these, or do they come with the magnets and stuff pre-installed?
They don't come with them pre-installed, because I've actually had a look at this Kickstarter myself. So they come with the holes drilled out and the magnets. You do just have to glue them in.
Right.
So
how easy is that? The only thing you have to make sure is keep the positive and negative sides going the right way.
It's all about the polarities, Justin.
How do you reverse the polarity on a magnet?
You put the magnet in back to front and then you're screwed.
Or upside down.
Works the same.
Right, and are these all the little weapon options and hand options you've got?
Yeah, so depending on what level you come in at, you'll get a set amount of hands and miniatures. So I think like the cheapest buy-in is 1 or 2 figures with about 15 hand options.
Yeah.
And then the more money you pay, the
and
more...
each hand does its own job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the variety in there for things like D&D and Pathfinder and all those sort of fantasy games. Look at the Falcon. Falcon's great.
There's a Falcon, there's a hook, a water bottle.
Yeah, they've obviously gone far, far further than anybody should ever need to.
This is just fabulous.
If you can't find the item in question on this Kickstarter, then you probably don't need that item in question.
Yeah.
Because they've got everything in there. I think I've even seen a little bit of toilet roll, so in case somebody's going to the... No? Just imagine that bit, was I?
the heroic plate. So $100 gets you all the miniatures and all those different hands with the
legendary one goes even further again.
Yeah.
The real problem would be when two people in the party both get katanas at the same time and they're fighting over who gets it on their miniature.
Oh, let them buy their own. These are just for me. These are just for me.
You see, this is the thing. I think some of these you can just actually add on an extra item here and there.
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay, I've got a request for Hand of Glory. You guys doing the Kickstarter? Do me a favor and do some kids minis as well, because these days I delve in dungeons with my children.
We were talking about those last week.
And I like having
kids have made some.
Yeah, I think it's genius. We're all of that age now where we've been dropping sprogs. So do some kids sculpts as well, and sold, utterly sold. I like them. I don't fancy the challenge of painting it all, but that's okay. I have a John.
Not everybody has a John.
Not everybody has a John. There comes
Every
a time
gaming
in life.
club has a John. Are you the John of your local gaming club?
If your gaming club doesn't have a John, then it's you.
Yeah, then it is you. Right. Okay, last one, and then you're gonna spend some time with Dave from Hawk War Games.
Yeah. So the last one I chose is from. Okay, it's my show that I've designed, so I had to go for my hobby horse.
Yeah. Just wait, because I maybe haven't congratulated you enough. That last Kickstarter, that was awesome. Okay. This show's been awesome, Justin. So far.
I'm just. You see, this is him setting up because I think the next one I picked, because it's a genre I like, is gonna go no crap.
Okay, what did you pick?
I picked this. It's called Dead Days. It's a cooperative zombie survival game, and it's a card game. So this is something you like to talk about, is having games to play with your mates where you're not always against each other.
Yeah.
And this is basically one that lets you either play standalone scenarios, trying to survive in a zombie apocalypse, or letting you play story modes where you'll actually go through a sort of choose-your-own-adventure style, adventure, trying to survive the zombie apocalypse. So
it's kind of like an adventure that you've chose on your own?
No, because you're working as a group.
Oh, right. Okay.
3 to 5 players.
Okay. I'm sorry, dude. I'm messing with your head.
Straight over there. Straight over.
See, there's no protection now that I've took the hair off and the beard's gone.
Okay.
Just like Samson. Your power was in your beard.
No, this is one of those genre types that I think everybody should always be looking at, because it's my own personal favourite.
Because you get choice and an adventure all in the same package.
Well, it's more that I like the idea of survival games, because in all my PC gaming at the minute, I'm just buying survival game after survival game and playing through them. Yes. Feeling miserably at most of them, I have to say. Yeah. But this one in particular, I think is a good one.
Yes. Why?
Quite simply because it's a light and easy way to transport this type of game. Because it's a card game.
You do know at this point, right? Yeah. At this point, Ben would be on the screen telling us all about the intricate mechanics and stuff like that of how the game plays.
This game is... Alright.
Here's the spot. You're on it.
Here's the light. The actual gameplay for it is basically you will set up a set of zombie cards. You will have your character cards, and then you will draw items from a deck. Yeah. Depending on, I believe it's simple dice roll mechanics to actually kill the zombies and stuff and gather loot from them. Yeah. The real part of the story is whenever you're building your bases and stuff. So you know the way in Kingdom Death Monster we like base building and society building.
Yes.
For whenever you do your
society building in this then?
Kind of. You can build like sort of a safe base area to work from. But that's what I like about the story mode, because you can go anywhere. So you can either decide, right, we need to make damn sure we're getting resources. Or you can think, right, we need to get the hell out of Dodge as quickly as we can. Because it's all set within a city. And if you think, all right, we're in a city in the middle of a zombie apocalypse. Where are there no zombies? Countryside. Let's go.
No, well, we know that's not true. We have watched The Walking Dead. Zombies are everywhere, Justin.
So this puts you in the Rick/Negan seat. You and your band of survivors are trying to build a safe haven. Yeah.
That actually sounds cool. That sounds cool.
I take it it's just a standalone little deck then.
You know, it's just a card game. Yeah. So it's not like something that's big and heavy and bulky to carry around with you. So this is, say you're going to a con or something. Pop this in your backpack, lay it down in the middle of the day whenever you're having lunch, play a couple of games of it, and just chill out. Yeah. You know, so containment of the beast as well.
There you go.
Always contain
Justin,
the beast.
Thank you for a wonderful show. Remember that tomorrow you get more of Justin and his designs of the show and my attempts to derail it at every opportunity. Come on over to Backstage on bc4.com. sign up or pay us your money. And,
Bob Geldof there?
You help us keep the lights on, and you get an extra hour and a half's worth of completely new and even more relaxed entertainment on his dime.
Hi guys, I'm Leo from Mythic Battles, and you're watching The Weekender on beastsofwar.com.
Hi everybody, I have been joined in the studio by Dave from Hog War Games, and, well, with it being the Weekender, we have Dave across. Got to get you sat down, mate, for a chat, see how things are going.
Good.
So,
busy.
UK Games Expo was busy for you.
Oh God, yeah, it was. It was great. UK Games was awesome.
Yeah.
It was one of the busiest. Well, for us, the busiest show we've ever had as far as consistent busyness on the booth goes.
Well, I mean, like, you guys had so many great events on, because you had the spaceship building challenge, and some of the stuff people were coming up with. Oh my God, it was.
Oh, there
crazy.
was some crazy stuff. I mean, that was just an idea that I had. Like, let's do some actual building of sprues on the booth, because it's not something we've done before. And it was meant to be one table, and it became like 5 tables by the end, because, you know, it was so busy. And they're like, do you want some more tables? Like, yeah, we'll have some more tables. We squidge them in there and put some more sprues out. We ended up opening up loads of product to get more sprues to just feed the beast, because it was so many. Cabinet was just jammed full, and people were taking them home too. So like, if you were there on the Sunday and saw the full cabinet, there was probably twice that many space stations built. It was a lot, and there was some really fantastic creative work done there. So yeah, that was really good fun, and I reckon there were a lot of kids who built their first ever plastic kit on our booth with our stuff, which is really cool and different from the sort of thing we would normally do. So yeah, that was great.
See, just for actually getting people to engage with the product and actually have a play with it with no restrictions. Because, I mean, like, I know there are some people out there, whenever they buy a kit, they really want to know what they're aiming to build before they build it. And now, there's nothing wrong with that. But I like sitting down with just a mess of sprues and just sitting thinking, I'm going to play with this.
Yeah, it's just free-form building, and it's the modular space station kit anyway, so it's basically plastic Lego.
Yeah.
You know,
but
space station Lego, you can just build. Yeah, and the one that won actually was she'd built a dragon that was just it wasn't very big. I mean, there were some that were built that were huge and unwieldy. This one was only maybe this kind of size, but it was meticulous. It kind of it was like a space station dragon with used gun turrets for feet, and it was very, very well done and very neat, and that's the one I gave it. There was only meant to be one prize, and we gave out about 5 in the end because there were so many. It was like, well, you can't just have one winner from this lot. So we shortlisted a whole load of runners-up that were also really good in their own way. Yeah.
Now, in here, anytime we do a competition, we generally have the short list, then the shorter list, then the even shorter list. I'm guessing that's kind of what happened with you guys.
Yeah, because we were moving the best ones to the top shelf as we went around. So there's, you know, because there were a lot to judge, and people who wanted to take theirs away, we were taking pictures and details if they were good. So a few of those weren't in the cabinet at the end and still won prizes. So we're trying to be fair if people had to leave and take their stuff with them.
That's fair enough.
It was cool. It ended up being logistical challenge. We had like 2 or 3 staff just running the space station thing all the way through, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
You know.
But I mean, like, that's the one thing I noticed about UK Games Expo more than anything. It's about engaging with the people who are there more than anything else.
Oh, know? Yeah.
And that made the show just really special to me. Just that it wasn't just people turning up and saying, here, buy our toys. It was people turning up and saying, no, come on, sit down. You know, welcome to the world of, say, Drop Zone Commander, Drop Fleet Commander. You know, this is what the world is. Have some fun with it. You know, play a game, tell a story, and actually, if you like it, you can.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different demographic as a show, you know, and we designed our booth like that.
Yeah.
Having said that, the space station build will be back at other shows because it was really popular, so it won't be the last time we do it. So if you missed out, just check us out at other shows. We may or may not be doing it at Gen Con, American health and safety permitting. We'll see how that goes. I haven't actually followed up on that one yet, but we'll see what we can do, and booth space too, because we had a very big booth at UK Games.
It's all right. Tell you what you do. You're in America. The sun's shining. It's bright and beautiful outside. Just in the parking lot, set up some picnic tables, ton of sprues. Off you go.
Ton of sprues, but yeah, we will do it again because it was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That, and you guys won a ton of awards.
We did.
So congratulations. I didn't get a chance to say to you at the show.
Thank you. No, that was special. That was because they're all public votes, and it was. To win, we've entered these before and not won them, and we won 4 all at once, which was just crazy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, it was actually funny because Lloyd actually filmed the award ceremony, so there is a a bit of the video of you guys going up to get your first award. You go to walk away and they're just like, whoa, whoa, whoa,
whoa, you
right,
got to come back.
Come back, you've got more here.
Yeah, because it was, what did we get? We got best rules for Drop Fleet. Obviously, credit to Andy Chambers for that as well. Yeah. Best miniatures for Drop Fleet, which I suppose is on me. Then there was best accessory for the space station pack.
Yeah. I think your space station.
I'm sure that
helped.
I'm sure that helped there a lot. And best expansion for Reconquest Phase 2 for Drop Zone. So a nice spread of things that were really good.
Not just for Drop Fleet, Drop Zone got some love there as well for that Phase 2.
Yeah, which is really still impressive. Quite fresh Phase 2. So yeah, that was good.
Yeah. So what else has been happening with you guys since UK Games Expo? Anything you want to let everybody know about?
So shall we mention the new thing at the moment? Yeah. So if you're watching on Monday, or Tuesday, depending on when it went out, you'd have seen that we've just announced that we're working on Drop Zone 2nd edition.
Yes.
This is the big project for the year. We've been working on it for ages, which is why things have been a bit quiet on the Drop Zone front for a while.
Again, that's nice though, because it means that you've internally been working on it for 6 months. I mean, like, this has been your baby.
Oh yeah. I mean, so Drop Zone's been my baby for 5 years out in the world, and another 2.5 before out in the world. So it's been my life for 7.5 years. So
although you do realise that was an actual kid, you'd be sending it to school right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be.
It's weird to think about it that way.
Yeah, it wouldn't be hating me yet. It wouldn't be at that point. It would still be. It'd still be loving me at the moment. Give it another few years. So yeah, it's it's a really important project for us and for me personally that we get it right. It's been internally a lot of work. Obviously, I've covered a lot more about what it is in much more detail in the other videos, so you should definitely check that out.
There's a link below on beastofwar.com in the post, so go check it out. Yeah. It is definitely worth having a look at.
So crucially, in the short time as well, and that you probably would have seen a few quite mega deals going on for Drop Zone right now. Obviously, post-announcement, people know it's coming and that certain stock is going to be changed for newer edition stuff. So briefly running through it, all the blisters are going to remain current, perhaps with improved packaging, hopefully, but that will be it.
Is that what you're focusing on more than anything, and is improved packaging, so no one's like miniature around?
Yeah, none of the miniatures are being discontinued, and they're all going to be viable rules-wise, especially ones that weren't so viable in first edition will be more viable now. So anything you own at the moment, don't sell it, keep it. It will all be good for second edition, so no worries as far as miniatures go. So the starter sets, the single players, they're going to stay the same, except for a new fast play sheet. So the old versions are just the fast play sheet in there. So the miniatures are all good. The 2-player, obviously the rulebook will change for the new rulebook. We might make a few other tweaks to it as well, but in general, the miniatures and the other content will still be good. The token sheet might change a bit.
Yeah, and you had mentioned the fast play sheet will be a free download.
Oh, yeah, and there's fast play sheets in the single players. Yeah, they'll be free downloads.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's handy, it's easy, it just makes playing the game easier, so that's going to be available there. Obviously, the rulebook's being replaced with the new version. Yeah, but there's still a lot of artwork and imagery. Yeah, a lot of the photography. There's probably been more photography in the original book than there'll be in the new book.
Well, you see, this is the thing. For the original book, this was while it was still just your brainchild.
Yeah, literally, that first book, apart from book layout, everything in that book is my work. Everything. The writing, the rules, the photography, the painting of the miniatures, the design of the miniatures, the fluff, everything. It's all me. Even the graphics for the company logos and the game logo, and I did those too. So, because it was minimal budget with just family money really, and that was it. So
but it was the amount of passion that you put into it that I think has made the game stand so well for 5 years. And now to be at a stage where you can look back at it and say, well, let's see what I do with it.
I mean, times have changed a great deal. The industry's moved on a lot. I've spoken to thousands of gamers over these 5 years all over the world who've given me good and bad feedback about Drop Zone. So I've been absorbing that for a long time, and 5 years in for a rule set, I think is quite good, really, for a first edition.
That's a good lifespan before you have to touch it. I'm sure you've had your erratas and your FAQs,
we've a few little tweaks.
That's par for the course.
I mean, I'm generally very happy with the longevity for Drop Zone, and we could probably crack on with first ed for another 2 years if we wanted to, but it would be a better game as a result of this, and that's what's important mainly, and it's definitely time.
That is what's so important, is that you want to make a better game.
Yep, that's it. I always want it to be as good as it can be, you know, and it can be better at the moment. So that's the thing, really. I will be grafting to make sure it is better, and so will the rest of us. So, you know, keep an eye out for that. Obviously, keep an eye out for deals right now. If you're not too fussed about things like fast play sheets, if you want to pick up some miniatures at great value, now is the time.
Oh god! Oh god! My wallet hurts.
Yeah, so that'll be especially true in the UK. So you'll see, you know, because we're clearing our stock down, and there'll be a few things. So look out for deals for that, because, you know, we'd rather have rule books in the hands of players, you know, because it's not going to be out until fall time. So perhaps October. I wouldn't want to be too specific at this stage, because it's not coming out unless it's ready.
Yeah, you see, this is the other good thing. It has to be right whenever you do it, and I have great respect for you guys and actually being able to say, we're aiming around this ballpark, but we're not giving you a hardline date just in case. Yeah.
I'd rather release slightly later and have it better, but not too late. Obviously, we really need this thing out by Christmas, ideally.
Oh right, do you want this to be your
for obvious
big Christmas
reasons?
Seller,
This is the big Christmas release, because it's, you know, it's a high time that Drop Zone got some serious love, and that's what this is for. And we can't drag our heels forever.
Of course.
You know, not that we are, but that's around the time. But my point really is that if you're interested in Drop Zone and feel like dabbling, Second Dead,
now's a good time.
Second Dead will be better. It will be improved, but it won't be a vastly different game.
Like, so I'm assuming that core DNA will still be there.
Yeah, the core stuff that makes it Drop Zone will still be there. So if you want to pick up a first edition book for not very much at all, or you'll probably get them perhaps phone in free with certain things, you know, certainly have a look at it. The fluff won't change. There'll be no retconning whatsoever being done. I hate that. So all the fluff is viable. A lot of the photography probably won't be in the second edition book. So there are some good reasons to own that book.
Yeah.
And it's a little piece of kind of, this is the one where it's all my work. Yeah. If you care about such things, but that's.
But it's also the original beginning of the game, because you'll get some people that they'll still have that nostalgia hit where they might actually want to play a retro tournament and actually play a Mark 1 Drop Zone tournament.
Actually, on the subject of Mark 1 Drop Zone tournaments, it's probably worth mentioning Invasion, which is in September.
Yes.
I've got my dates written down. 23rd to 24th, it's a weekend.
Yes.
A 2-day tournament, 5 games as we normally do. That is going to be the very last ever official first edition tournament. So
I see.
If you want to have the last hurrah of first edition, go to that.
Right.
It's going to be a really good event. We're going to push it very heavily because it's like the big swan song for first edition. So, you know, go to that. If you're a player and you want to take part, they're really good fun. Chilled, relaxed tournaments. Definitely turn up and play.
Yeah. It also means that while you're there, you can actually maybe twist Dave's arm a little bit and just go, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening?
Yeah, because I'll be there. We usually have a display case with new stuff. We usually show off things that no one's seen before at Invasion. It's free to walk in. If you just want to turn up and look at that.
Yeah.
Tournament ticket, I think, is $25, and it includes lunch for both days.
Oh, that's nice.
They're on the site now if you want to jump in on that, so definitely do that. It'd be cool.
Yeah. Now, speaking of events, Gen Con is just around the corner now.
It is. Gen Con
we've
looms.
talked a little bit about it, but what are you guys hoping to do? Because I know you guys always do big stuff for Gen Con, so I'm hoping we'll have some shinies there.
Well, we've got the brand new Battle Fleet boxes. They're going to pre-release there for Drop Fleet.
Okay, I'll need to get a good chat with you about those to actually see what's in them.
Those are big and chunky tournament-sized fleet boxes. Okay. Beautiful box art, really nice. They should be pre-releasing at Gen Con.
Okay, I need a standalone video for this one. I'm sure everybody out there wants to hear what's going on with them.
It's just after the retail release of the Battle Cruisers, so they'll all be there.
Oh God, I have to go to the Hawk War Game stand.
The show onlys will be there, of course.
Yeah.
And there'll be some other stuff. We'll be talking a little bit more about second edition, more than we have done so far here, because I'll know more. Do you have any
seminars at the event?
We don't actually. I did one at UK Games.
This is why I was wondering.
That was my first ever seminar, actually. I think it was good. I'm happy with the way it went, and I'd love to do more. But Gen Con, we haven't actually tried to do one before at Gen Con. It's usually tricky because it's so expensive for the attendees to go.
Yeah.
Like every minute you're at Gen Con, you just see the dollar signs just go ding, 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 ding.
So this is what I'm thinking with us actually covering the event this year. Is I want to get as much stuff as I can out the door to show people just how big and how cool the event is.
Oh yeah, it's massive, it's vast, it's a different proposition to anything in the UK.
Yeah.
You know, it's different from Spiel even. Spiel is a bit more laid back than Gen Con.
Oh, are you guys at Spiel as well?
Yeah, we're at Spiel as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we're always at Spiel, so we'll be there. We always go in conjunction with our German distributor. We share a booth, so we have German demo guys who can obviously demo the game in German, which helps because my German is very limited.
I think the only German I know, and I'm sure my accent is absolutely god-awful, Ich bin ein Berliner.
I have Verkaufen Sie Sturmgewehr, which is do you sell assault rifles? Eminently useful in daily life. And Ich habe mein Luftkissenboot verlasst, which is I've lost my hovercraft. Also massively useful. So yeah, I can't really demo Drop Zone or Drop Fleet in German. So that's we'll have German demos obviously on the booth. So and Spiel is a good fun anyway. If you've never been to Spiel, definitely go to Spiel. It's great. It's different again. They're all different.
Yeah. I think I have one more bit of German, and I've probably got it wrong. Ritten dein Leben, der hat eine Panzerfaust.
Something about
run for your lives. He has a bazooka.
Yeah, fair enough. That'll do.
Oh, good.
Nice. Yep. Again, just down the pub.
Yeah.
Standard usage every day.
Yeah, I think if you go up to the bar and say any of the sentences we just said, they will cut you off.
Yes, I think so. Or commit you in my case.
No, they'll probably just go, no, that's enough beer for you Englishmen.
Yes.
Apparently German beer is too strong for English bellies.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, we will be at both. I'm looking forward to Gen Con, especially. It's always nice. It gets nicer every year for me.
I will have to make sure and catch up with you guys.
And it'd be cool to see you guys there as well, because that's a big thing.
It's Gen Con 50. First year myself and Ben are getting to go there. I am looking forward to it. Although the one thing I have to do while I'm there, I've forgotten what that was though. Oh, what was I thinking? Oh yeah. I'm probably going to pick up a battle sleep box. Damn it.
Yeah, there's lots. There is lots. Gen Con is packed.
This is the thing. For Gen Con, I really do think I'm going to be overwhelmed for at least day one, trying to figure out what's going on. I'm looking forward to meeting all the American fans out there.
Oh yeah, you'll be swamped. You'll be swamped.
This is the thing. I keep hearing that American fans. How to put this politely? American fans are more forward, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like they're less shy and retiring, being very stereotypical about Brits versus Americans. But usually you'll get but in American it's like bam. Yeah. There's not much preamble sometimes, but it's very different. America is a massive country, and people are very different depending where they come from. And I've probably been to America 20, 30 times for Hawks since we started, maybe something like that. So I'm not fully qualified to speak on it, but I've been there enough times. It's diverse.
I really am excited about it. I'm looking forward to meeting everybody that's there, getting to meet up with all of the companies and stuff that are there, getting to stuff off with you guys, seeing what it's like. And actually, that's what it was. So for Gen Con, it's one thing I keep hearing as well is the way that booths are actually allocated is on like a point system.
It is, yeah.
So say this is probably tipping your hat a little bit to new companies out there, but for new companies who would actually want to visit Gen Con, would you have any advice for them?
Well, if you want a small booth, if they still do it, there's an Entrepreneur's Alley thing. Okay. We didn't do that in our first year because we needed a bigger booth.
Yeah.
So the way that works is there's an area that's kind of subsidised for new attendees, for new booths. So if you've never displayed before, you can go there. We couldn't, for example, because we've been to Gen Con before.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than the other booths, and it's in quite a good location, actually. It's not bad. Downside is if you need the bigger booth, Gen Con awards 2 of them bigger booths, or at least did 5 years ago when we looked at it. It might be different now. But you don't know whether you're going to get those, and you already have to put your booking form in. So if you need a booth bigger than, I think it's pretty small, like 10 by 10 feet, then that's not really an option for you. So that's one. 2, doesn't matter how much money you throw at Gen Con, doesn't matter what you do. If it's your first year, you will be put in the corner of nowhere, and that's just it.
Right.
Sorry.
So just take it on the chin for year 1, get your foot in the door.
Yeah, and if you don't go for 1 year, you lose all your priority points and you have to start again.
Right.
Yeah, so
it's a very different system to what most places do, because most of them it's like first come, first serve. But Gen Con, I'm guessing there's so many companies that want to go to Gen Con, they kind of have to do that out of a fairness standpoint.
Yeah. I mean, we need to book our booth for the year after on the show that year.
So you do the show and you're booking next year?
You're booking next year on the last day, yeah.
That's actually really good, because it means that Gen Con knows they're going to have...
Oh, it's really good for Gen Con. It's not really good for us.
I don't know, because...
we end up with half our booth costs tied up for a whole year.
Well, this is the thing. But
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's good for Gen Con. It's good for the attendees because it means that they know people are coming back. They know Gen Con is going to continue to grow and expand as an event that they're going to want to visit.
Oh yeah, I mean there's no danger that Gen Con isn't going to be full always. Yeah. You know, this one being the 50th is presumably going to be even busier. I mean, basically, like nerddom takes over Indiana completely. Yeah. But Indianapolis is owned by Gen Con during Gen Con.
I can't wait to see what downtown looks like.
Last year, when everyone was playing Pokemon Go, you just saw somebody in a restaurant with it, and it was just lit up like a Christmas tree. There was like a million.
Well, just everybody dropping lures all over
whatever they are. They were just. I didn't play the game, so I know vaguely like Pokestops or whatever. But there was a million things going on in Indy for that because everyone was playing it. Cause it was
August it's kind of like a zombie apocalypse where there's just a horde of Pokemon trainers just. There's a Charizard over there, and then just the herd moves.
Yeah, exactly. There's the cosplay stuff too. That's really cool for Gen Con.
I'm looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, mixed bag again. Some fantastic stuff and some really awful stuff too.
Well, you see, here's the thing: cosplaying. It's one of those things. Some people they have incredible skills at it, but some people they just want to go along and actually, show that I like this character.
Oh yeah.
Some people might not have the skills to execute a cosplay really well, but fair play to them for trying.
When I say awful, it's more like. A guy should not be wearing Speedos.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean by awful. That's what I mean by awful. Like
okay,
kind of
that came out left.
You're just having your mid demo. You turn around, you're like, ugh.
Okay.
But only occasionally. Usually it's like barbarian types or whatever. But
I see.
It's all part of the fun.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
Every time I hear about it, it just sounds like more and more of a fun show to actually go and visit.
Yeah.
Right now, the next announcement for Hawk War Games. Which again is completely out of left field. I don't know why they're doing this, but Dave, do you want to tell everybody what you've decided to do?
Okay, so this is a big decision for us. Is that we are going to potentially sell the Avenger, which is
the Avenger.
Yeah. So if you don't know what the Avenger is, it's our display model that we bring to certain shows. We brought it to UK Games this year.
If I may,
of course, we brought it.
This
to
is the monster.
So if you've not seen it before, it's a strike carrier. So it carries dropships. It's 3 meters long. There's a couple of shots there. So it's in 10mm scale. So it's drop zone scale.
Yeah.
But if you bring that shot up again, actually, then we can have a look at the dropships. If you go up to up to the top there,
so you've got the launch bays.
There you can see all the launch bays open with the 10mm scale. Those are actual stock drop zone gaming minis in there. And it holds them all. All those doors you see there, they all move. The turrets move. It was a complete bespoke resin mad project.
Yeah, and you could buy it.
Yeah, so I built it. I designed it and built it almost entirely myself. I did have a little bit of help from teams here and there working on things like, hey guys, I've got 300 tanks and 100 condors to paint. Do you want in? Like, no, not really, Dave, but yeah, right.
Those times whenever you can get friends and family just to labour for you.
I mean, I think I did this thing because I wanted to build it, and I was in a position at the time where I could, and I love building models, and I love building big models, and I had this chance to build this crazy, just mental thing. I don't think I'll ever get that chance again. Because Hawk is a different company now. There's more of us. There's much more pressure to keep going and produce and innovate and be a company. Yeah. This is cool and everything.
Yeah, but this was your own hobby project.
It was
wild.
Really. I mean, it's been great at shows. It's a crowd drawer because it's 3 meters long.
Yeah,
that's nearly 10 feet. 10 feet long. It took me about 1,000 hours to build it. About 3,000. Plastic components and about 1,000 resin components.
Yeah.
All the resin was all custom built specifically for this project.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I suppose you have to do the cast, figure out how everything will be laid out. Mike, did you actually take your CAD design that you had for a normal New Orleans and take the components to actually scale up to 10
backwards?
Really?
Yeah, because this was designed before the plastic one was, but this design was informed by the fact that I knew it would have to be plastic later.
Right.
So there were certain things I could do and certain things I couldn't because you've got to have line of draw on plastic on tools. So I kind of knew what it was going to be. I designed it on CAD for 10mm scale.
Right.
And designed certain things like that dropship section. You see the decks are repeated.
Yeah.
So I designed one cross section and then multiplied out.
Yeah.
There's actually, if you're interested in the build and how it was built, Hawk did a little YouTube series on my build. It's not Beast of War Pro quality or anything. It's filmed by me mostly, and it's basically a video diary of the build from start to finish. There's 20 episodes. They're about 10 minutes each.
Yeah.
That's worth checking out if you're interested to see the amount of pain and suffering I went through building this thing. So
honestly, for the result, and from what I've seen at shows and seen what people have said at shows, well done. Simple as that, well done. It was worth it.
Yeah, I do think it was worth it, even after all of that. I mean, it's an achievement, it's finished, but so the question immediately raises, well, why the hell are you selling it then?
I was about to go there.
Yeah. So the first reason really is that it's huge.
Yeah.
And we've brought it to shows now for 3 years in various states of completion. The first salute it came to, it didn't even have a nose properly. It was annoying really, because it was just it was a foam core shape at salute, and I'd built it the night before. I managed to burn myself really badly with a glue gun at 3 a.m. building this thing because it had to be presentable for the first salute. But everyone took their pictures from the front. So even though all the details and the rest of the ship, you just got this big block of nothing. Like, oh, could have finished the front off properly. And like, yeah. but anyway, so it's been to shows for 3 years odd. Yeah. Most people in the UK who go to the shows have seen it now. We need to do new things for Hulk. It's important that we innovate and we try new things. So I've got another mad, crazy project in my head. It won't be... Well, it'll be. What I will say, if I get my way, it won't be that detailed, but it will probably be bigger.
What are you doing?
Well, I don't want to tell you. So this is a tip for all model building maniacs out there. Detail is not too difficult. Building something big is not too difficult. Building something big and detailed is a pig.
Right.
And with 500 moving parts is also a pig. And that's what the Avenger is.
Let me ask, do the doors open and close?
Yeah, every single one of them, they all open and close. They're all magnetised, all of
them.
All those lights, there's like, I think 600 lights. The engines are all battery powered because they're removable, because it's 3 meters long. That's the other side of this, is that this is also for the sake of my team, because everyone is sick to death of the Avenger, moving it around between shows, and because it takes up half the van for stock.
And I'm sure it takes up a hell of a footprint on your stand.
Oh yeah, it does. I mean, that's kind of okay because we don't bring it to every show, and we only bring it to ones where we've got room.
Yeah.
And as I say, the thing I want to build is even bigger.
Yeah.
But it's going to be different. So
my mind is just going, what could he build?
But look, it's no promises because, as I say, if anyone at Hulk is going to be the one building it, it's going to be me.
Yeah.
But I'm also doing a whole bunch of other things.
Yeah,
so.
Well, you've got second edition to burn through. You've got to push on with drop fleet.
Exactly. But, I think the plan is for me to do this next build in a really concentrated, intense period of time and not to have it anything like that for detail. Right. Like, this is as detailed as the 10mm figures we sell for Drop Zone and Drop Fleet. You can go right up close and see all the little tiny little details. Decals, there were 500 custom decals that were made specifically for this project all over it. Absolutely mad. We had to find a decal printer that could print white, which is a challenge. There aren't many of those. So yeah, it's a beast, and it takes up a lot of space in our lockup. More importantly for us, that we could otherwise have more stock in, or let the crew move a little bit easier. So it's time to potentially sell it.
Okay. Well, let's start scrolling down, because this is a first draft of a PDF you guys have made to actually let people know it's for sale.
Yeah. So, crucially, with this, it's the largest wargaming miniature ever built.
Yeah.
Excluding dioramas. I would say that's my caveat there. As one miniature,
You've caught me here for a second. The largest wargaming miniature.
Yep. Ever.
Yeah, but you're saying it's a wargaming miniature.
Yeah, right. So, for it to qualify as a wargaming miniature, it has to have rules. And now it has rules. So we'll get onto that in a little bit.
Colour me intrigued.
Yep.
Okay.
So it is vast. It was about 1,000 hours time. Obviously, all considerable production budget because of all the resin and everything involved. So first off is we're not just going to say put it on the website with a price, because that's how do you price something like this? It's So the approach really is we're going to take basically any sealed offers until the end of August.
Okay, so this is going to be like a silent bidding thing then?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we kind of reserve the right not to sell it for one, because we're not just going to kind of take the highest bid flat out. Like, I've got a price in my head that I won't sell it for anything less than.
That's fair enough.
You know, after all that work, I would probably rather maybe rent a storage locker and put it somewhere or whatever.
Yeah.
Than sell it for too cheap after all what I've gone through to build it.
Well, like, surely there has to be a certain amount of sentimental value.
There's a lot
to
of
this
that,
thing, yeah.
and it's also I want it to go to somebody who really cares because I don't want it to become like I don't know. You know, I want it to be taken care of because it's one of my probably the best thing I've ever built.
Yeah.
And,
so basically, you don't want to sell it, and 2 weeks later you see it up on Facebook and it's been resprayed.
Oh yeah, that sort of thing. So it's so if you're interested. Just please email us info@hawkwargames.
Okay.
You know, put it in the subject line.
Okay.
So we won't accept any bids until the end of August at the earliest.
All right.
Anyway.
So you won't close any bids until the end of August.
No.
We'll take bids coming in.
However high the bid is, we'll sit on it until the end of August. Okay. After the end of August, we kind of will reserve the right to just accept a bid whenever.
Pull the pin on the one you want to sell it to.
Yeah, exactly. And as I say, we may not sell it.
Okay.
So it's not a kind of this thing is definitely going. If we don't, because it's hard because Hawk, you know, let's be honest, we're not Games Workshop here.
Yeah.
So we have a fan base, but it's not that big, and this is something quite exceptional. But then this doesn't exist anywhere, really. So this is
that one-off thing?
Yeah,
that you would expect to find on Pawn Stars.
Yeah, it's a mad thing, and it's also kind of in a way fun to do this as well and see what happens because I don't know what's going to happen here. So
well, it'll be interesting to see what value people assign to it. So.
Yeah.
A couple of questions.
Mm-hmm.
If your buyer is from America, what are you going to do there? Because shipping this thing would have to be a one-time deal.
Right. So actually, this is worth mentioning as well. If it's UK or kind of accessible mainland Europe, we'll probably deliver it ourselves in person.
All right. So you'll rent a van and
we'll just rent a van and drive it, set it up wherever you want it set up.
Okay.
Do any little touch-ups and things because it always gets the odd scuff every time we move it as well.
Okay.
That's another reason to sell it is every time it goes to a show, it gets damaged a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of tired of that as well. So it needs to go somewhere permanent where it's going to be in better condition, really.
Okay, so UK or mainland Europe, you will deliver this.
We'll deliver it personally.
Right.
If it's America, there's going to be some challenges attached to that because
I'm thinking that
it's hollow and it's full of wires because of all the lighting.
Yeah.
That with the TSA is like.
Yeah.
So there are obviously ways to get anything into a country. It's not something we've tried to ship before. I'm sure there are ways. If there's interested buyers in the US, we can look into it and we'll find out how and when it can be shipped. But
one important thing then.
Yes, actually, worth mentioning this.
No. If you're shipping it to America, this is something I've learned because we transport it hot to America. You remember our big 12-foot table?
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. If you're getting pallet crates to put it into, to actually individually pack it, make sure they are plastic. Because you can't send in non-heat treated wooden pallet boxes to America.
I know
it
that
will
one.
Get shipped straight back to you.
Yeah, which is mad.
All right, now what did you think I was going to say?
Oh no, so there was actually another thing is that we've always wanted to bring this thing to Gen Con.
Okay.
And we never have because of the whole shipping malarkey. And also for us, if we're going to bring it back to the UK, that means we've got to ship it twice.
Yeah.
And then it's twice as expensive, twice the risk, all the rest of it. So if somebody in America wants to buy it and wants to work with us to bring it to Gen Con next year, then we are down for that.
Okay,
so
awesome.
We can perhaps do something and help there. It's any one of these bids is going to be a sort of personal conversation, really, rather than and wherever somebody
here is money, it's in the post.
It's hardly a web sale,
Well, it's technically a web sale. It's the biggest web sale in the history of wargaming, I would say.
Probably,
for a single miniature.
For a single miniature, for sure. I mean,
I call it a miniature. I shouldn't.
Well, Weta would call it a bigature. That's where the inspiration came from. Partly is if you've ever seen the special features on Lord of the Rings, for example, like the Minas Tirith was built, and Minas Tirith was like room-sized and built by a whole team of people over the course of many months. And Hogwarts, if you've been to the Harry Potter experience,
I've not. Is it good?
Very good. If you're into miniatures, it's worth going just for that because Hogwarts is in a massive, great big room, huge room with the whole Hogwarts castle in it. It's the biggest miniature I've ever seen by a big margin. Like it's huge, twice as big as anything at Warhammer World, for example, at least 3 times bigger. Even than the new one.
That's really impressive.
It's huge. So it's worth going just for that if you like miniatures and design and stuff. That's why I went. I love the movie production design stuff, and they build big models for Hollywood. They used to do it more than they do now, but Weta do it a lot.
Well, you see, this is what I loved. Whenever you see a miniature that's been built as that, where they've got the cameras panning over it and stuff, I don't know. There's a nice feel to that that's nicer than CGI stuff.
There is that's a real serious thing. You feel like older films like Star Wars, the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is quite old now. The original one, it's like what, 12 years old, more than that, maybe.
Really?
Yeah. Fellowship was
time is flying.
No, seriously, Fellowship was
in the nursing home soon.
Fellowship was like 2002, 2005 period-ish, I think. But yeah, push. Yeah. But it hasn't aged a day. Yeah. All the miniature scenes, like they look great.
They still look amazing.
Some of the CG looks a little bit janky
it's
now.
It's getting there.
You know, but the CG ages and the miniatures don't. Yeah. That's the thing. Yeah. So there's still a place for that.
Who doesn't love seeing, you know, a pyro guy being brought in to demo part of a miniature?
Oh yeah,
that's just good.
I mean, Independence Day, you know, when they blew up the White House, that was one shot. That was it. That miniature, like they would have blown it up for real.
Yeah,
don't screw it up.
My favorite one has to be the first Alien versus Predator. You know that final scene where they blow everything up?
Yep.
They got one shot at that. And in the commentary, the director actually talks about their demo guy, Jan. I think it was a big German fella.
Yeah.
And so Jan was told to set everything up. Put barrels of petrol and diesel and whatever down that was going to blow up.
Yep.
And apparently he put too much down. He literally blew up the set.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I mean, like afterwards, the director runs up to him and goes, "Jan, what the hell, man?" Yeah, wooden polystyrene, de burn.
De burn.
Yeah. And it was just this moment of going, I would have loved to have had that job because it would be so fun just to light that match and go.
Yeah. No, I mean that's actually something that I've always wanted to do one day is work in miniatures and like for movies. Yeah. That's something that I'd personally love to do because I love miniatures and designing things. Well, Not that I would right now because I'm very happy with what I'm doing right now. But
you do know you could do a CGI drop fleet movie. You've got the CAD models.
Got the CAD. But yeah, it's you know I love cinema and film, and I'm a massive nerd for that kind of thing. So
hey, there's nothing wrong with having your own hobby away from the wargaming side of things.
Oh yeah, no, and that's what this was partly about as well. And it was my one shot to build something truly mad that would otherwise need a Hollywood production team and an entire budget, big budget, bigger than we spent on this thing.
Oh, and I just have images of this thing turning up in a year's time in a low budget B movie.
We wanted to do green screen stuff on it actually, but we'd need to rent a studio because it's huge. You know, to do that, you'd need a big pro green screen studio. You'd need boom rigs, all kinds of things like that, and it's not something we could justify.
One of our building owners actually owns a movie set. But then you'd have to bring it to Ireland.
Yeah, well,
there'd be a problem.
You ferry it. I don't know. It's we'll see. Anyway. But yeah,
so
on rules, I did mention rules.
Well, we've got background first. So do you want to read this out for us?
Oh, so there's that's the
background for it.
Yeah, so that's the normal background for a strike carrier. So by the way, these documents we're showing you now, they're both going to be on the website. They should be on the website by the time this goes up. Yeah. So anyone can read these. Okay. So this is the general background for the ship. But there's the other one that we opened earlier.
I think I have it here.
There it is. So this one comes with the rules, slightly different. Okay. And this background tells you a little bit more about the style of these rules compared to how we normally write rules. Yeah. So the first two paragraphs go down quite normally, and I'll read you the third for funsies. Okay. And that will set you up for the rules to come.
Go for it.
Very occasionally, strike carriers may be brought right up to the front line to support surface operations. While a New Orleans firepower may be considered pedestrian for deep space combat, brackets, that's 1d6 on a 4-up in top fleet.
Well, I suppose you're working in order of magnitude here.
When taken into the context of localized ground warfare, the level of ruination it can unleash is frankly darkly comical. It is a gigantic, obscene, floating apocalypse for the poor, hapless, soon-to-be cold bodies staring up in dreadful awe at its lethal majesty. Having the sun blocked out by your impending doom, thousands of tons of 564-metre-long starship is enough to make even the most crazed, chainsaw-wielding killer soil themselves in terror. So there you go. That's how the rules are going to go down.
This sounds legit to me.
Yep. So it's a little bit, So we'll get on to the rules themselves.
There's nothing wrong with it being a little OTT. You know, this is meant to be a fun one.
This is a nod to all fans who've been and seen it, and so many people over the years have been, oh, you're going to write rules for it? Well, here they are.
And so I assume this is, again, a first draft?
It is, yeah. So this one, actually, the core stat line is missing. This is a drop zone.
Because you're not giving it away to everybody out there.
This is drop zone rules. Right. But
Drop zone rule.
Drop zone rules. So it's 10 mil scale. So it's drop zone.
Okay, so now it is a wargaming miniature.
It's just in brief. There, it's 101,000 points.
Right.
And it's got 3,600 and something damage points.
Okay.
And that is the weaponry. Usually in drop zone, you might have 1 or 2 weapon profiles, maybe 4 at most. This one.
It's a Citadel.
So main mass driver turret, for example, energy 14. 3 shots, 1+ accuracy, infinite range countered, and Demolisher 300, Devastator 300, large blast. That's the big railgun turret. Which
I assume this is dumping a lump of steel about the size of a skyscraper.
Yeah. I mean, the big railgun turret in 10 mil is about this big.
Yeah.
So when you min it, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, you're essentially dropping a building on someone's head.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to flatten anything it touches.
Yeah. So then you've got the close action torpedoes tubes at the front, which is area BM, which we'll get onto in a minute. Very powerful again. Then you've got 12 point defense lasers, big ones.
Yep.
They're all the laser emplacement from the drop zone, actually. So that's a legit.
They're running off the standard profile.
Yeah. So that's a legit drop zone miniature, and this profile actually comes from one of the scenarios you can use it with.
With 12 of them.
Which is Devastator 15, Demolisher 10. Oh, yeah, powerful. Yeah. Anyway,
crazy.
Beastly, energy 13. Then you've got point defense lasers with 90 dice combined. So that's the base weapon profile. So pretty bloody scary.
90 dice.
90 dice of infinite range, energy 9 lasers as well to boot.
With strafe.
And that's the point defense lasers. That's just designed in space combat to destroy munitions and things. Not even, but you know, a modestly armored tank in drop zone is toast compared to that.
Yeah, pretty much.
And all those big point defense lasers will just beam everything out.
Just cutting lines out of a city.
So what I'll do if we go down for the rules, I'll pick out a couple of choice tidbits for you.
All right.
It's the only thing in the game with Armor 11 and Energy 14. Yeah. They're not a thing in Drop Zone, and they have their own special rules here. Appended with Feel the Noise.
Yeah.
Area BM is Bloody Massive Blast. I'll read that one for you.
This sounds legitimate.
Use the normal blast rules, except the blast radius is 24 inches. You might need to make your own comically large blast template, perhaps with a big middle finger painted in the centre, or yellow smiley, or whatever you feel might make your opponent cry. Your choice. It has the Death Machine rule.
Right.
Fear it. If you take a New Orleans strike carrier in your list, then this is your list.
Right.
You really shouldn't need any more than this to level a 20 by 20 foot gaming table, replete with enemy forces, skyscrapers, armour, force fields, and the lot. More or less, it's death to anything. Yep. The LZ cartoon cutout basically says it doesn't need to land, but if it does, it destroys instantly a strike carrier sized template on the ground, just blonk.
So just cutting everything out with a big dead zone in the middle, and then this thing's sitting there just ready to blast away.
And you can land on buildings or friendly troops if you want, but it's not very nice. It's not very nice, and you shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Then we'll go on to the next bit.
Yeah.
The really big aircraft rule, that basically means it's a bald edge.
Yeah.
It also says that you should use the stock flight stand for it.
Does this thing have a stock flight stand?
It does have a stock flight stand. It's custom built by a carpenter, and it's about this big. But it does have, and it comes in 2 pieces. But it does have a custom
gaming table doing this.
It does have a custom flight stand, a stock one, which you must use in games with this thing. It said you may need to move many things out of the way to place it on the table, or not. It's quite heavy and will crush most miniatures underneath it. Again, your choice.
I think I would choose to move my precious, beautifully painted stuff out the way.
Also,
I say beautifully painted. Not so beautifully painted. Maybe not even paint it, but I'll move it out the way anyway.
It needs a stout table on which to place it, because it will break the table if it's
How much does this thing weigh?
You need
in real life, not in game.
In real life, the front is very light, the back's pretty light, the engines are kind of dense but not too bad. It's the middle of the ship that weighs a bit,
right?
Because that's where all the moving parts and all the drop ships are, and 90% of the build hours are in that middle section.
Got it.
Needs 2 people to lift it.
Okay.
It's not. You could probably lift it on your own if you were kind of like, yeah, but it wouldn't be safe.
I wouldn't be doing that.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that. You should always lift it with 2 people because it's huge.
Yeah. We then have payload. Does this thing come fully loaded whenever you take it?
It does. If you were to buy it, it comes with all the models in it. This doesn't really give you all the options because that would take forever and you need a whole book. Yeah. So we've given you a option for a cool 24,898 points. So
your dropship now has an army?
It does, yeah. And that you don't get a discount for that. That's what it costs, and you won't need a discount, frankly. What that comes with is 102 sabres in 31 condors and 1 albatross, 102 rapiers, 28 condors, 2 albatross, 64 bears, another 32 condors. So they would hold 960 legionnaires, which is more or less a whole cohort of smug UCM infantry grunts.
Yep.
4 Kodiaks, 2 Ferrums, 2 more albatrosses, 20 gladius, and transports 8 scimitars, 36 wolverines, Praetorians, 4 more base of legionnaires in light dropships because they bribed their CO to go in the better transport.
Yep.
6 Falcons, 6 Seraphim strike fighters, and 10 Archangel interceptors. Just because, 24,000 odd points.
All dropships come with the missile pod upgrade included, of course.
Because why not? They'll clearly be enough to tip the precarious balance in your favour.
This is glorious.
It's kind of...
And then when if destroyed...
Yeah. So, firstly, what the hell did your opponent take and what were you doing all game? Anyway, if the strike carrier is destroyed, roll a single solid gold d6 on the following table.
Right,
and it must be a solid gold d6.
Where is this table? Beautiful artwork, by the way, in this. You guys have outdone yourselves. Okay, so let me read this. So on a roll of a 1 through 3 crash landing, the ship crashes in much the same manner as a majestic fiery comet descends onto the field of marshmallows. Marshmallows? Okay.
Descends onto a field of marshmallows.
Okay.
Squish.
Place the cartoon cutout LZ template underneath the model and see what's irrevocably squished to death instantly.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
That's the New Orleans sized death template.
Okay.
If you want to land, you could use that.
Okay.
4 to 5 raining debris.
So superstructure gives way and explodes into tower block-sized chunks. Survival is questionable. Each structure and unit on the table is destroyed on a roll of 4 or more on 3 combined d6. Anything left alive is blessed by the gods of gaming.
So 111 and you live, otherwise everything dies. And 6, I'll do that one. That's
Okay.
kablooey.
Okay.
On a 6 on your solid gold d6, the ship's drives detonate in an apocalyptic grid reference encompassing plasma ball of death. Everyone loses. Burn the table afterwards for effect.
And if that wasn't enough, we've got
that artwork
explosion
in there. And a little side note at the bottom, actually, it's worth scrolling down because there's the last piece of artwork on here.
Right.
This actually is photography. I did that for a change.
That
little bit of CAD work to do the
lights.
A little bit of photoshopping to do the red lights, but the blue lights are actual real ones that are on the ships. And then at the bottom, a little side note. Always look on the bright side of life. This is a very important rule for the model. If you don't grin maniacally during deployment or during the first turn, you lose the game automatically. As a gamer, you are not worthy if such be thy nature. If you win the game, which might just be possible, you must show some humility in your seal-bashing endeavours.
Look at this face. If I'm playing this is my face the entire game.
All the way through.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that is it. So we have written a rule set for it. I admit I had a bit of fun doing that, and it's something I've been meaning to do for years, and I was like, right, let's have it. Let's just write the rules for this thing.
Well, I believe that's all we have time for today, DM. I would say that's enough, but bloody hell, guys. There's a saying, there is no kill like overkill. If you are a member of a gaming club or something and you want to have the Avengers sitting to actually play, I would say games of Drop Zone Commander, but I don't really know what we're going to call this game. I think we need a new game. Just
you need
Avenger Zone Commander.
You could buy one drop fleet model and proxy it. If you've got 125,000 points worth of drop zone models sitting around, don't think anyone on the planet does except for us, and they're unbuilt in the warehouse. Yeah, obviously.
Well, Dave, it's an interesting one. Guys, if you want to lay your hands on the Avenger, get in touch with the guys at Hawk Wargames. If you have enjoyed this segment, if there's anything Dave has been chatting about that you actually want to have a word about, get it in the comments below. We will be keeping an eye on them. Myself and Dave are going to move on here.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now, and be sure to check out beastofwar.com for the latest gaming news and gaming Let's Plays. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe, and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.